Welcome to TradeIndia.com. This is John's reports for the 16th of September, and of course, we started with that general weakness that was developing, but we could see that we were, still having that rise of DOC steel, which meant that short-term buyers were holding things pretty well along the support lines, and a little bit of a dip, but boom, took off, and it actually happened rather late in the day. It was pretty much a trading range, and then finally caught a bid towards the end of the day, and it just was pretty phenomenal. Skyrocket, you can see it on the intraday chart. From an NQ standpoint, not quite as strong. The magenta moving above white on the NASDAQ is critical. It hasn't happened yet on the NASDAQ, so there's just a little discrepancy between the two, bit of a lag, but this is why we started watching oil again. As I pointed out, that kind of spike will put some downside pressure going forward, because when you get those kind of pushes, inflation is definitely going to be a result of higher fuel prices. And that, again, this is what I talked about from the Eurozone standpoint, the pressure on the European economy being so slow. It's going to be hard to maintain the pressure despite the Fed wanting to push higher, where investment returns are in dollars at this particular stage. It makes it tough, and so we're getting a bit of a retrace from a Euro standpoint. 50K chart, we can see it, the turnaround started well towards the end of the day, and then we just kind of, like I said, we went pretty much flat in between, and then boom, got above that 23%, and once it did, took off from there. Still had a white leading, so once we do get a confirmation with the white rating back above red and magenta below yellow, then we would look for a more sustained move back towards the 0%. The question will be at that point, if it holds up at the 50, it's usually the primary target I'm looking for, but once we get there, we'll see if there's any movement from the 0% rising, which would really draw it down, or if we just kind of maintain flat going across. But definitely a huge move back up to really, obviously you can see where the highs were, but still maintaining relatively strong overall. No real catalyst. So here's what it looked like. So when we look at that intraday, we go back and forth. Had some decent little buy setups here. Working with the code on this one, because technically it met all the criteria for sell signal there, except for it was riding above the 61%, but not above the 76%. And so as soon as it dipped below there, the strategy took it off at that point, just as the breakout. And that's because in this setup right now, I have the cyan turn to the off position. The cyan buy is the dip of cyan under red DOC, which we always consider a buy. And you can see as soon as we broke above the algo levels that we had before, there was no resistance till the next one. And then we traded across a little bit, and then boom, up to the next one above. And that's exactly how they approach it. And right now we're just caught in between. We had the spike of white here in the post market, and that's pushing its way down towards, well, in this case, a rising 0% level. So potentially it'll take us back to the 62 range before it makes another play, and we'll be there for it. So all in all, this was pretty clean, good action, and that volatility that we talked about increasing once everyone got back to school and things like that, certainly playing out as expected within that range. As always, though, I will keep updating you on the Skype chat and putting up relevant charts as they pop up. Trade well. We'll talk to you later.